You're listening to The Flickcast, a podcast about stuff nerds love. I am Chris Ulrich, and joining me is my co-host, Joe Dilworth. Joe, hello, sir. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. So many things have happened in the world since we last spoke. So many good and bad decisions, and so many new things have come out. And so many interesting episodes of television, although I don't know if we should call it television. So many interesting episodes of shows that we've been following. So we'll...
serialized entertainment.
Serialized entertainment. We'll get into all of that. On today's show, we're going to talk about Book of Boba Fett. We're going to talk about Peacemaker and maybe a few other things. We'll have picks today and all that stuff. But we're trying to get things rolling and keep these episodes to a more manageable length. So we're going to jump right into it. And do you want to start with Peacemaker or do you want to start with Book of Boba Fett, a.k.a. Return of the Mandalorian?
Let's start with Boba-Lorian.
Return of Boba-Lorian. Okay. So the best thing to do with your show about Boba Fett is to not have Boba Fett in your show at all for an entire episode. This will be spoilers for this episode of Book of Boba Fett, which literally is called The Return of the Mandalorian. If you have watched it,
that's the name of the episode.
And the Mandalorian is in every bit of the episode, and Boba Fett does not appear in the episode at all.
No, that's not true. He was on the previously on.
Oh, that's true. I don't count that.
He was there,
but that's not canon. So
yes, that's not
accurate. Yeah, that's not accurate. But Fennec Shan shows up at the end. So
she does.
It is amazing to me because it's the same in theory, right? It's the same creative team. You have Favreau who wrote the episode, and you have basically the same technical team, the same whatever. And this show was, I would say, so much better than any other episode of Book of Boba Fett. And also, I would like to shout out to Bryce Dallas Howard in her direction.
Yes.
I think she should direct all the episodes. She did a great job. The episode made sense. It was coherent. And it was, had action, and had all kinds of stuff, and some humor. And maybe it's just that Mando is more interesting than Boba Fett. I don't know. It was just amazing. It was really like another show. So I don't know. I'm sure you liked it as well, right?
Oh, I loved it. And I will say right off the bat, give Bryce Dallas Howard a Star Wars trilogy and let her do what she wants and get out of her way, because she is such a great storyteller. I've loved the episodes of Mandalorian she directed, even though all the rest of them were shot very nicely too. But she did well and just knocked it out of the park here and did a tremendous job. I mean, she probably learned a thing or two from her dad growing up, but still.
There's a story about how she never had TV as a child, so I think that's what helped her.
Oh, right. Yeah, there you go.
They had to learn stuff, and I'm sure she went to set with dad a lot, but that's talent. Definitely talent for sure.
I was just really surprised at how much it was just an amazing episode, but in the back of my head, I couldn't help but think, this is, are we seeing the season premiere, or is this the Mandalorian Christmas special, kind of bridging the seasons? I mean, I guess that explains why Book of Boba Fett is 7 episodes instead of 6, because they threw in what should be a filler episode, but it was the best one yet, and was like, wow, this is really good. I mean, there was so much in it. There was humor, there was heart, there was I don't know. It advanced the story of Mandalorian. It explained the Darksaber more. We even got talk about Grogu, and nice little tribute to him when the armorer made the little present of whatever she forged for him,
adorable.
Made it look like him.
It's little Grogu chainmail, right?
Yeah, he's gonna have Beskar chainmail. That's badass.
So adorable. Yeah. There was so much story. There was so much, like you said, backstory for the Darksaber and stuff about
he got a new ship. We got Amy Sedaris back, and found out she dated a Jawa. That was
very hairy.
But
I like the fact that what they're doing with the show in some ways, what they're doing with Mando too, is they're like taking all the stuff from the original trilogy, especially, and saying, look, there was some cool stuff. Underneath. I mean, it's metaphorical, obviously, but look, we can take this thing that you remember from the first prequel trilogy, and it's not so bad because now the ship looks dope because it's got Mando chrome on it and everything. Yeah. And of course, he's like, what about the port for the droid? He's like, I hogged that out, so conveniently, it's a little seat for Grogu.
Exactly.
Because you know it's not really practical for a bounty hunter ship, right? Because where is he going to hang all the people that are?
That's what I was thinking. Where is he going to put his bounties?
He brings them in cold. So. But that's the other thing I didn't understand at the beginning. He comes to find that guy. He's like, how's he going to transport him? He has no ship, right? But anyway, it doesn't matter, I guess. But
well, the bounty was right there on the thing, and all he did was have a head, so he could.
Oh, heads heads can go in like check baggage. So
yeah, you can put that. He could put that in the thing with all his weapons.
That was cool. The other thing that was impressive is there was that whole I think it's like 2.5 minutes continuous shot of him limping around, going into the elevator, going to see those people at their meal and make the deal for the thing, and go back in the elevator and go back down to the lower level to find where the forging girl or I'm not forging, but the other Mandalorian people, the armor, yeah. And that was pretty cool. That was all one shot, and I didn't notice any. I didn't notice any cuts or dissolves or anything. So I'm wondering how they did that. I imagine it was some trick when he's in the elevator. They had to do something to sort of rotate.
Well,
since
they have they could just move stuff out of the way because they have the video wall. So there was like when he goes back in the elevator, the camera pans down to his wound, and he's like, oh, and then it comes back up, and the background's different. So you can switch it on the video wall pretty easily. And then when he's, while he's in the elevator, you're moving the set pieces. I'm sure they made them easily movable. But yeah, no, that was again, cool, being a fan of continuous shots. That was pretty badass. And I also liked the fact that we've got a ring world in Star Wars. Yeah, that was badass. Yeah,
it's like a totally different show. It's like a totally different.
I know.
I don't know exactly what happened. It's like everything was well shot and photo, and like the ideas were good. Like the stuff with the TIE bombers destroying Mandalore and like those robots going through, destroying what's left of the Mandalorians, like totally reminiscent of T2, obviously, but that's okay. It was cool. It was all super cool and the great visuals. And I don't know where this show has been. I guess I just miss Mandalorian because how could it just be such a better show though? It's the same people.
It's weird. I know. I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's because I was trying to think about it. It's like, is it because we watched Mandalorian for 2 seasons already, and that's why we like it so much, or is it that maybe it's just a better show? And I'm wondering what's wrong with Boba Fett because, as we talked about before, it's really like there's a lot of stupid stuff that happens in Boba Fett. Like I was thinking about last week's episode, where you have a character like Boba Fett who lived on Tatooine for years with Jabba, right? With Jabba, not Java. And working for him, so he knows the town. And then they're walking through the town, and Fennec is explaining how things work in the town. It's like he lived there, and then on one hand she says, "Oh well, the Hutts used to go through the streets, and then like the streets are desert." It's like there's so many weird questions. Like why is he a power family with nobody in it? It's like he's trying to, why are people even listening to him? Why are they giving him tribute? He has no troops. He has nothing. It's like there's so many weird things happening, and I think a lot of it has to do with what we talked about before, where they're trying to connect all the dots from the Mandalorian, and they have to have these things happen, and they're not necessarily making sense logically or for the characters. It's like this is what happens, and we have to figure out a way to convolute it together, and that's that's weakening the show, and never is that more evident until when you have an episode like this, which is so much better. It's just amazing.
It even made the previous episodes of Boba Fett look cheaper, in that this was just so solid with the effects and like the ring world and going down below in the ring world, and it's like, did you save all of your money for visual effects and everything else just for this one episode, and the rest is just like filler for the rest of Mandalorian? Because now I'm like, well, I want to see more on the ring world. That should be a series. I want to see more with Amy Sedaris' character. That could be a great sitcom on, Mos Eisley with her, various characters coming through and getting things fixed and the wacky hijinks that ensue. I want to see that. I want
to see a sitcom with her married to a Jawa. I mean, that would be
right. And so at the end, when Fennec Shan shows up, I'm like, oh, it's great to see Fennec, but I don't want to go back to that other story now.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough when he's like, yeah, I'll come and help for free, which means it's going to be in the rest of the show, probably, at least. It's like, no, I'll do it for nothing. But first.
Yeah, so is Grogu going to come help?
I don't know.
And Luke, maybe.
No, they're not going to bring Luke back because Luke
No,
was barely tolerable for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
They did bring Luke back technically because the guy who played Luke, his body double, was one of the X-wing pilots. So there you go. Luke already came back, folks.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
We got to see the one X-wing pilot too. That
Right.
Your voice sounds familiar. You got the wrong guy.
Yeah, we're not going to see Gina Carano again, I'm sure, but
No, but it was just there was so much good stuff in this episode that I don't want to go back to the other storyline. But I still wonder. It's like, well, I got to go see a little friend first if he's going to be like, hey, Luke, Master Jedi, what do you think about Grogu having Daddy Day out?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, he's going to kidnap him. I don't know. It's like,
can I have him for a weekend? Can he visit with Dad for a weekend?
Well, that would explain why he wasn't why Grogu was not with the Jedi Academy or whatever you want to call it when Kylo Ren decided to kill everybody. So that's why he wasn't there. Obviously, because Mando came and got him. So does he continue his? I don't know that Mando is enamored with the Jedi because I think that's one of the reasons he's struggling with the Darksaber is I don't think he likes those called mystical whatever. I don't know. I also don't think that it's going to be hard to call the show The Mandalorian if he decides to like separate from Mandalore because he took his helmet off. So now he's been excommunicated, but he has to go bathe in the waters of Lake Titicaca or whatever it was. I don't remember.
Lake Minnetonka in the winter.
Yeah,
yes.
Sorry, that's
naked.
An obscure Purple Rain reference. Not even a very good one. Sorry, folks.
No.
It's just, which is also I've never heard of that before, so I assume that's a new thing for the show. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, they even explained. They finally, explained because my question at the end of the Mandalorian is, he's like, "Here, you can have the Darksaber," and she's like, "No, it can only be one in combat." And I'm like, "That's bullshit because that's not how you got it in the Clone Wars. It was given to you by Sabine Wren." But they explained that it's like, yeah, it was given to her. She didn't win it in combat. So
talk about Bo-Katan, right?
Yeah, tragedy befell, because Bo-Katan was given it by Sabine Wren,
right?
Instead of fighting for it. So look what happened. That's the curse of it. So,
but Mando won. He won it right in combat by creed.
Yeah,
he won it by creed or whatever.
And the other dude, voiced by Jon Favreau, tried to take it from him. And
I think that's Jon Favreau in the armor too.
Do you think it is?
I think so because the guy's kind of portly for a Mandalorian. I hate to say
he is kind of big, isn't he? Yeah.
I think that was
Could be.
I think that was Favreau in the outfit too. But
cool.
Yeah, why not? It's your show. Yeah. If you want to play a bounty hunter, I say go for it.
Well, what's her name that plays the armor is in the armor, so
right.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. That's a cool character, and I like the fact that she was fighting with her Beskar forging tools, and they were just sort of heating up and not really. That was cool. Yeah. Although at one point I saw her when she was like melting down the spear. I was like, is she making a bigger spear? Is she going to kill Mando and try to take
right?
Because it looked like she was making a better spear, right? For a second there. So what should I forge for the youngling or whatever? And it's like I would.
Yes.
So cool. I just think that that Mando's just a cooler character, and it's an improved version of Boba Fett. And as we've talked about before, maybe Boba Fett would have been better for like one. It might have been better to have an episode of The Mandalorian called The Book of Boba Fett. You know what I mean? Where it's like, here's what happened to Boba Fett, and he sets up his shop in Tatooine, and he becomes a crime lord, and that's it. You don't have to actually do anything with it, and that's fine.
They could have had like that. Like early in the Mandalorian season, and then towards the end, it's like, hey, by the way, there's a war. I need your help. And he shows up, and we get to see Boba Fett and Fennec Shan. Right. You could even have BK, and it's like, oh yeah, this is my new strong man, and had an episode or two where he helps them out, and then kind of like, it would be like the reverse, obviously, as they pointed out, of them helping him out with Grogu. So it would make sense that he would be like, sure, I'll be there to help you out.
Right. Well,
so I don't know that we needed a whole season of this. So,
well, again, it's like we were talking about before. If you get an opportunity to do a show, you probably do it. And he probably,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know who pitched whom, but I imagine because Mandalorian was so successful and the appearance of Boba Fett was successful, maybe Favreau was like, I'd like to do a show to tell you what happens to Boba Fett, or maybe Disney's like, we need another show. Maybe just do a show about Boba Fett. Who knows? But
here's what you do: you have an 8-episode Mandalorian season, right? You have the first 4 episodes, and the 4th episode is the Book of Boba Fett, and he's like, yeah, I'm set up on Tatooine and stuff, and it's like, oh, how did you get there? And it's like, okay, so Mandalorian's going on break, and we're going to give you like a 3 or 4 episode or a movie or something about Boba Fett, and it's like, here's how he escaped from the Scarlac or the pit, and then
Sarlacc.
here's how he Sarlacc pit. And this is how he set him up on himself up to rule and stuff, and then you come back to the story on Mandalorian. He's like, yeah, I'll help you fight your war, and then
instead we get a lot of back to flashbacks, but that's fine.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I can see their enthusiasm, and like you said, Favreau is probably like, oh, I've been wanting to do this my whole life, and here we go, and now we can do it. And maybe it just like we've always said, no one sets out to make anything bad. Just the execution didn't quite hit it for me. We still have couple more episodes left.
2 episodes,
so maybe they'll stick the landing. And
Favreau's been upset about this since 1983. So I'm just saying,
right,
as we all have. But again, maybe it should have been, but that's not what happened. So we got a Boba Fett show.
We got what we got. Yeah,
and we have a Mandalorian show, which is cool, and we have the crossover where Mando is obviously a much better, I would say, a flagship series for Disney Plus. It's like original IP, which they don't really have a lot of in the Disney world for Star Wars, for sure. Which also is probably one of the reasons that Mando gets more money and is a better show, because it's like like we have an original character that you've never seen before, and people respond to that. Look, we have an original Mandalorian and we have an original Yoda who looks like Yoda but is not. It's Grogu. But anyway, so that show is much more popular and much better. And they're kind of like, I don't want to say phoning it in, but I would imagine the major resources go towards Mando, and sort of the B team maybe runs Boba Fett. I don't know. But anyway, it's just, I don't know. It's telling.
I still think they rushed Book of Boba Fett
into
production, and just didn't have time to
think it through.
Think it through, polish the scripts. And,
do you think it was a COVID thing? It's like they need more shows, because
it could be. Yeah,
people are going to be at home more. You might be right. It might have been just like, we need an extra show. We need something for the platform. Do you have any ideas? And they kind of threw this together. But because I don't feel like it was thought through, like we were talking about before. No. I don't feel like there was as much attention to detail and history given to Boba Fett as there was to Mando, because obviously everything in this episode was like tied in together with historical stuff in the Star Wars canon and everything. But I did like the subtle dig at like Star Wars books and other non-canon stuff that the armor was talking about. It's like, well, all of that story stuff is not real necessarily. It's like, that's just bullshit, So she's like subtly destroying all that, but.
Yes,
millions of fanboys cry out.
I mean, even Tamora Morrison is like, I think Boba Fett talks too much in this. He should be quieter and
keep his freaking helmet on. Yeah,
right. So,
which I don't understand. And he shouldn't like walk by himself. And they shouldn't ride a bantha, because that's slow as fuck. And he shouldn't walk through the town for no reason. It's like, I got to show my face. No, you don't. You really don't need to show your face. You really don't need to do anything except be a badass, and you're ruining that by talking so much.
Stop talking and taking off your helmet, because now everyone's like,
start blowing people up.
It's like now you're coming across as like your friend's older uncle that just can't stop talking, and everyone's like, Jesus,
that's okay, Grandma. Let's get you to bed. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. Well, it's that Boba Fett again. Just let him talk. It'll be fine.
And then when he gets a chance to do anything, the action is staged so badly by people like Robert Rodriguez. It's like,
I think they rushed it. I really do.
You're probably right. Okay, we have 1 week to do this entire season. Go.
Right. I just think they
which I guess is a reason you hire someone like Robert Rodriguez, because he can do stuff quickly, not necessarily of quality, but he can certainly do it fast.
Right.
So. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see Favreau directing any of these episodes, do we? No,
I don't think so.
Don't have time for that shit. So, I think the attention is not. Their attention is obviously elsewhere. So
that kind of begs the question: was this episode shot in a block with Mandalorian, or was it shot as part of the production of Book of Boba Fett? You know what I'm saying, right?
I do. I feel like this was the Mandalorian team that was doing this one,
right?
And they just this is part of their. I'm sure they're shooting Mando season 3 at this point. So this was just let's do this bridging episode because, we have time to do it. And, we're ramping up because it answers a lot of questions and it also poses a lot more questions. But I think it's great that, you get to revisit these characters, and I'd be happy to see Grogu. And I think you're right. I think he does come and help Mando, and they all work together at the end. And I don't think Luke's going to come because I think that Mando and Luke are going to have a little dispute about whether Grogu should stay and continue his training, and he's going to be like, maybe he'll be back, or maybe he won't, and then he'll just leave with him, and maybe he'll kidnap him. I don't know, but although I think
Luke
Grogu
will be like,
will want to go with him.
Because I think Luke will be like, I can't really get this guy to listen to me and train with anything, so maybe you should take him. He's a little too strong-headed.
Well, I guess the other thing, because Ahsoka said it anyways, his attachment to you is a weakness, so maybe Grogu is having trouble because he misses Mando so much. He misses Din Djarin,
right.
Because they have a connection, so it's like, he can't fulfill his potential as a Jedi until, they resolve their deal. Or maybe he'll never be a Jedi. Maybe that's the other thing. Maybe he never becomes a Jedi.
Well, it could be.
So he's just little buddy, and he hangs out with Mando, and they have adventures. So, which I'm fine with that. But does he have his little lightsaber? That's the question. Because no, he probably doesn't, because that's the last thing the Jedi do. They make their own lightsaber, right? So he probably doesn't have a lightsaber. Exactly. Because Mando doesn't like lightsabers. He doesn't like the dark saber either, because it's too hard to handle.
Because it's fighting against. Well, he's fighting against it.
Which is,
I guess that's supposed to be part of it, is that it might be
cursed.
The legend of it is it's not only cursed, but semi-sentient and stuff like that too. So,
because I was wondering why he's having so much trouble with it. It's is he just suck at lightsabers? But then it's dragging on the floor, you can barely pick it up, and he's cutting cutting things in half that aren't things, and that's a lot of cutting in half for a kid show, by the way. I mean, a lot of people get cut in half.
It is.
And then he cuts it, and then he cuts himself. Oh shit! So anyway,
I guess I'm thinking we'll get more on that, but now it's I want to see that now.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if their intention is to bring Mando in to help Boba Fett, then they'll have to either show that, or they'll have to, Grogu and Mando can't just appear. I got the child back, and then they'll tell what happened about that. How he got him later. Maybe they'll do that. I don't know, but because they can't keep focusing on another character in a show called Boba Fett, right? Because they can't,
we can't have another episode that is solely The Mandalorian.
You can, obviously, but I don't know.
Well, maybe it's Mando and Fennec Shan go to get Grogu, but still, it's
no, I don't. That's not. I don't think the Fennec goes with, because she's loyal to Boba, so he says I got to go. I got to pay a visit to whatever. So he could just show up, and then it gets explained in the Mandalorian show, because they're not going to,
that could be.
They're not going to show all that necessarily, because that would take a whole other episode probably. Or he just shows up and Luke's like, yeah, I've been expecting you, blah, blah, blah. Here's the kid. He doesn't want to do anything. And he's like, yeah, kids these days. And he just pops him in the ship and takes off.
Yeah. Peace out.
Peace out, Luke. I'll return to my training at some point. So,
yeah, sure.
I think Luke just wants him around because he reminds him of Yoda. He's like, oh, Yoda, you're much.
But no, I think it's then he realizes, it's not Yoda, and man, he's a brat.
He's kind of a dick. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to train him.
He's very willful. He's a willful child.
I don't know. I guess we'll see this next week what happened. But I think you're right. I think Mando is going to probably show up at the end of this next episode and then be there for the finale.
Right. Just in the nick of time as things look bad for Boba Fett, and Mando will just come in out of the rising sun. Still, someone's going to come in look for on the third day, right? So. Yeah, I'm still going to get that Lord of the Rings
suddenly
somewhere.
Yeah, all the bad guys have surrounded Boba and are about to shoot him, and they suddenly all their guns levitate into the air and turn around and point at them.
Right, and then you're going to hear
comes flying in with Grogu.
You're going to hear that. Going, you're going to hear that noise, the Mando theme, and they're going to come in. He's going to come. There you go. He's going to come flying in there and kick some ass.
Yeah, and Grogu's in the back going, yay!
Yeah, I did love the scene which is a good trope for sci-fi and also for other movies, but it's you have to take all your weapons out.
Oh yeah,
I like that for some reason, because Mando's
got. It took forever.
Mando's got a shit ton of weapons. He's got the vibro knife and his blasters and his other blasters, and it's
that was pretty cool. Yeah.
So he had to take all the grenades. I was like, oh, just a second, And,
those little sparrows or whatever those little things are. He empties all those in.
Pulls out another knife. It's oh, I didn't realize I had all this stuff. So
I know everything that's in there.
Yeah. Well,
I did love. I got to say real quick, I did love that after he took it for the test flight, she's like, "How was it?" And he goes, "Wizard."
It's
that. That was just awesome because he's always I maybe that's the best part of the whole Mando show is taking him from being this like super serious stalwart bounty hunter to like he's kind of enjoying life again, right, and learning how to live,
right?
Because Wizard is
it's all about
something
family.
they said. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's all about family.
Well,
he lives life at 10 parsecs at a time.
He does 12 parsecs at a time. Come on,
12. Well, whatever.
Now you've ruined
10 seconds, 10 seconds at a time. Come on.
Yeah, but you got to say 12 parsecs. You're going to get it in the Star Wars canon.
Fine.
But anyway, I did like the fact that he did say wizard because that's what Anakin's buddy says in the first movie. So I can't remember the kid's name, but yeah, it's like wizard. So and it's also a nod to yes, we know this is a show about space wizards and and laser swords. So
exactly.
Well, there's a lot of jokes in Marvel about that too, like in Endgame or what? Not Endgame, but in one of the two movies where he says you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards, right? So that wasn't Endgame. That was
Infinity War.
Thank you. God,
yeah.
I can never remember things. It's sad. Oh, yes. Tony Stark, R.I.P. So sad.
I'm making a little heart thing with my hands.
I'm sure you are. Heart emoji. Boom.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, it's funny how because we haven't seen Mando in a while, so it's funny how you're happy to see a character, and also it's just amazing the contrast between the two shows. So anyway, like you said, we'll see what happens next week. But I agree with you. I think it's going to be a lot of Boba Fett and Fennec, and then Mando's going to show up at the end, and then the final episode will just be the big fight, which will take half the episode. Maybe there'll be some good effects. Maybe there'll be some good battles. BK will crush a few skulls and pull people's arms out.
That'd be awesome.
He already did it once, so
yeah.
And Stephen Root will come back and go, "Oh, my Stephen."
It'll be BK going around just challenging every bad guy to to hologram chests, and when they beat him, then he pulls their arms out.
If it's going to be a Godfather metaphor, it's going to be people going around assassinating the heads of the 5 families, right? So, and someone's going to get shot. Someone's going to get shot with a blaster through their glasses. Although that's in Mo Green, so that's in the second Godfather. It doesn't matter. Sorry, but if it's like the Godfather, then a lot of people have to die at the same time.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Anyway. So
we've built up a lot of cannon fodder background characters. So
right, well that's what I'm saying. If they're following the Godfather metaphor, then there has to be a scene where Michael is getting communion or he's baptizing his child. But meanwhile, while he's baptizing his child, a bunch of murders are happening because that's Godfather. Right. That's Godfather 101 right there. Because you have to show something good. It's the contrast between Michael pretending to be a good guy but also killing a bunch of dudes. Right.
So the last episode is baptizing Grogu as a Mandalorian while everyone else is getting killed.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
Perfect.
Or he's putting on the chainmail armor. He's getting his armor on, and Grogu's like, and then he's eating. He's having some soup while everybody's fighting around him. He's like drinking his soup. He's like, okay, now I'm done with my soup. Now I'll fight.
So, yes, and then after he kills everyone, he eats a blue cookie.
He eats a blue cookie and then tries to eat one of the Jawas, but because
yes, exactly.
Spit that out. Yeah, spit that out, Dan.
Yes.
Because he likes to eat stuff. He's a baby.
Right, exactly. He's a foodie.
At one point, he's going to throw that metal ball at somebody, too.
Yes.
And crush them.
Maybe that's what, instead of chainmail, they made a Beskar ball.
No, it's chainmail. They showed it.
I know.
It's going to be super cool. But chainmail actually makes sense because they don't know how big he's going to be, so they can keep adding links, right, to make it bigger.
Right. Exactly.
So the armorer thought ahead. She's smart.
Yes.
I assume it's a she because it's
But he's got to go purify himself in Lake Minnetonka. The armor.
So that'll definitely come up in the Mandalorian season.
That'll be an episode. Yes.
Yes. And then Vanity will show up and they'll have to have a duet.
Right.
That'd be beautiful. So
that'll be
because Favreau is a big Prince fan too, a big Purple Rain.
Right.
Fan,
right.
As we all are. So. All right, that was fun. Let's switch over to Peacemaker, shall we?
Yes.
Talked that enough. Also a great episode, by the way. I'm loving this show even more. This was a fun episode. A lot of good stuff in it, and chainsaws. Love chainsaws. So I'm just.
And we got a gorilla. So hey.
Yeah. Was it?
It was not Grog.
It wasn't. It couldn't be right, even though it spoke.
His name was Charlie.
Right, but the gorilla did speak, which I thought was pretty cool. But I like the. I'm really enjoying Vigilante more. He's pretty funny. Yes, because he's so nuts. But he looks like this really unassuming dude with glasses. And then of course, what's her face? She's showing her heart of gold, right? Where she starts a little group chat fan club.
Takes a picture of all of them.
It's adorable. Yeah, I don't know. There's something weird.
Well, this was the episode of like them coming together as a team. And
it's all about family again.
It is. Even Economos is now. Peacemaker is a fan of Economos.
Well, they're buddies now. They bonded over their favorite.
That's
over their
right, 'cause
favorite
he
band
used
of
a
all time.
chainsaw.
Well, they're also their favorite band of all time too.
Yeah, Hanoi Rocks.
Hanoi
There
Rocks.
you go.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a hill I would die on for Hanoi Rocks. No offense. to
No, I don't think
Hanoi
so.
Rocks fans, but that is not my favorite hair metal band. I did enjoy. I would have liked to hear some more. Heard some more Poison. That'd be cool.
That would have been cool.
But it's just a funny episode. I love the fact that they're totally into metal, which I appreciate as a fan of metal from the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
As a hair band fan, although I never had the hair or anything, but
I did.
I believe it. There's got to be pictures of that somewhere, I'm sure, which is
there's
incriminating
quite a few.
incriminating photos. And a good twist at the end, which you kind of saw coming. I only had one question about the twist though. Is that I know that that's what had to happen. So I feel like it was motivated by the fact that that's what had to happen more than it was motivated by the fact that that's something that Peacemaker would do. I feel like he wouldn't just leave his shit lying around necessarily.
No.
So, but as soon as you see that, she's like, oh, she's going to figure it out because that's what has to happen now, right? So that to me felt like a false beat a little bit. But again, as we talked about before, it's because the script said so. That's what happened. So.
Right.
It had to happen. But other than that, I really enjoyed this episode a lot. And that didn't actually bother me. It's just, it's contrivance, but the whole thing is contrivance. Well, it's a show about superheroes that have bugs in their heads and stuff. So it's like, come on.
Well, that plot point had to come out, and it had to be at this point in the story. I mean, storytelling, and it was the right time for it. So it did feel like it was a bit of a stretch to get us there. But I think, again, my theory is that, the next episode, she's like, are you going to kill me? And he's like, no, I'm not going to kill you. I'm trying to save everybody and stuff. So I think even though he's a butterfly, he's on the good. He's either a rebel butterfly or he's just trying to protect. I don't think he's trying to protect his people. I think there's good and bad ones, because when they went after the senator or whatever, he's just like, ice him, kill him right now. Because if he was trying to protect his people as a whole, he would have been like coming up with reasons not to do that, right? So
yeah, I would think so.
I think he's like, a rebel because, talking to Christopher Heyerdahl's character, he was like, I've changed, and I know that's meant to be like, oh, I'm a butterfly now, and you don't know that, but I don't think that was it at all. I think. That captain or whatever is in on it, the whole thing.
By the way, let's have a shout out for Heyerdahl. By the way, that guy is creepy.
Of course,
I fucking love that character. I've been a fan of his for so long. He was in that. He was in that show with Anson Mount, the train show, whatever, I can't remember what it's called, but Hell on Wheels. He was like a weird guy, bounty hunter guy in that show too. He's fucking scary. I love him.
I'm so glad to see him on this show, because I don't think he gets nearly enough work. No, he's fantastic.
He's great. Yeah, he's really intense and scary. And to see him show up at the police station was cool.
Yeah,
putting the brakes on or trying to put the brakes on the detective. But it's like, the whole show, I feel like has been really good at guest stars and really good at like supporting characters. Because I would say like the core group is really good, and most of them are people you've never seen really before. And then, obviously John Cena is doing John Cena, but he's good at it. But he's like Peacemaker's over the top, right? But his relationship with the girl is with the woman. Oh God, I got to get the characters straight, but what I'm talking about. Where they have the whole
Harcourt.
Well, with Harcourt, but also with the other one too, where they're talking about how do you know Harcourt likes you? He's like, well, she said, just because you're handsome, you're also a killing machine asshole. But they had that whole relationship.
Adebayo.
Yeah. They had that whole conversation, and I thought that was really nice. And I feel still like we were talking about before, she's like the only character in the show that likes him, that really understands him, besides Vigilante. Although I think Vigilante can't really like anybody. I don't have emotions like other people, so it didn't bother me.
Yeah,
which is true. But she's like really trying to reach him, but then she still, does the thing that her mom wants her to do, and it's conflicted.
Yeah, I think Adebayo is like the person he looks at is like, she can be my best friend kind of thing, because I don't get the feeling at all he's trying to put moves on her. Even when he was like, you want to come in for a drink? I think he's just like, I need a friend. I need a pal.
Yeah.
And she's it. And there's like she's not going to be attracted to him at all, because he's obviously still got it out for Harcourt.
Well, she's also a lesbian too, so she's not going to.
Right. And I think and he's just like, I just need a friend, because even when they go inside, he's doing the kind of the sleepover thing of like, oh, she said she said I was handsome.
Right.
It's like, oh, how did she say it? Kind of thing. It was like, that was great.
Right. Right.
So
Well,
I don't think
he even says it's like I never really had this kind of thing. He's never really had a friend. I would
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Or if he has, they've all been like work friends who are also weird. Yeah, that was like I said, that was a good scene that really humanizes him more, and he's in a way he's like a little kid, right? I mean, he's basically
right.
a
He's
little
kind of learning how
to deal with people
Yeah.
and not kill them. So
Yeah.
he's growing as a person, and realizing that you do need other people. And it's also nice. I mean, I'm sure that's, he's never had a friend in general, but he's certainly never had a friend of color, I would imagine, because Augie would not be thrilled with that. So,
Yeah.
so he's overcoming his prejudice. He's overcoming, I mean, if he even had prejudice at all, I think he just thinks that everybody needs to die if it's for peace. But, and of course, at the end, the white dragon is free, right? So,
Yeah.
they're definitely gonna have their conflict that we were talking about before. So that'll be interesting when he'll realize, oh, the armor's got holes or whatever, and then he can fight. So anyway,
Yes, exactly. And I think Harcourt is bonding with Vigilante, maybe not in a romantic way, but his whole like, well, I don't feel emotions like everybody else, and being detached. I think she's like, that's me,
yeah,
and I don't necessarily want to be that way, but this guy is like functional and able to get through life that way. Maybe I can learn something from him. So,
well, that's interesting you say that because I feel like well, it's either that or she's a butterfly because maybe she's just going through the motions of trying to bring the team together to play a role because they have her and Myrn have sort of a look at one point during the episode, like, when we're at the end, he's like, okay, now we have to pretend to have fun. Yay. Which is maybe why she goes to the bar by herself or whatever. Maybe they're in on it together.
Right, maybe.
But I think you're right. And if, if you watch the trailer for the next episodes, you do see that there's more butterflies and you do see some idea that there are different factions probably of what's going on. So anyway, I'm just enjoying the show. And again, I really like the over the top violence in this episode, especially was just funny because they just go in there to talk and he's got his shotgun. He's like, blowing people up, which is James.
Yeah,
he just starts killing people. And
it's like, why didn't you say something? I did when I blew her head off.
Yeah, didn't you notice that? So I have to tell you. I have to tell you to run from a bomb. That makes no sense.
I like that. I'm going to put a grenade on this Russian bomb. It's like, what?
Yeah. I know. I just invented this morning.
Yeah. It's just it is such an absurd show.
Yeah.
But much like what James Gunn is good at is it's got a lot of heart and it has a lot of poignant moments. And then it'll totally turn again on a dime. But he's a really good storyteller, and I like his style and the way he tells stories. They're just so ridiculous, but really good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that it just came down to. I feel like this was just a show that they kind of did for fun. It's like, what do you want to do during COVID or whatever? And Gunn is like, well, I'd just like to make a show about Peacemaker, and they're like, oh, that's a good idea. So. But I do feel like the thing I like about it is there's violence and there's whatever, but like you said, they're about people. And one thing that James Gunn is really good at is making you care about people that no one really cares about. Like, look what he does with Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad. No one gives a shit about Polka Dot Man, but then by the end you're like, fuck, Polka Dot Man's dope, and then he gets killed. And you care about Ratcatcher Dose, and you care about all these weird characters that no one should care about, and now you identify with these people in this show, and he's really good at that. And then there's obviously the over the top violence, and there's whatever, and he goes to the extremes, but in the end, it's humanized by the fact that there's these people at the center of it, and they're actually people. They're not just stereotypes and archetypes and superheroes and whatever. And I think that's why someone like him is really good for something like Guardians of the Galaxy, where yes, they are superheroes or whatever, but they're also
a team of misfits.
They're a team
he
of
loves
misfits.
Teams of misfits.
Yeah,
right?
He loves the Apple Dumpling Gang because that's an apt response,
exactly
description of this show, but also of Guardians of the Galaxy too. They are don't call us whatever, we don't know what that means or whatever, plucky, or whatever. It's
right.
Yeah, it's perfect, and that's the same kind of sensibility he brings to this, and it works. And again, I want to shout out to the actors who do a great job. I think all the characters are good and all the actors are good, and it's just a well
I'm
done show. It's fun. It's just fun, and I like that. Fun is
yes.
good.
I saw, so there's a recent episode with James Gunn, and he said, yeah, he's working on another separate secret DC TV series that is related to Suicide Squad. But then they was like, hey, so what about season 2 of Peacemaker? And he goes, the show is doing really well, so I think it's probably likely we'll see another season. So,
Yeah, I saw that. I think that I think there will be. Well, it's very popular for HBO Max. It's doing really well. So
yeah,
we were talking about how they don't release numbers, but they actually will release numbers if the show is doing well. So
I know. I noticed that.
everyone's watching this show, so I think we'll see another season of it for sure. And it'll be all about Peacemaker dealing with having to murder his own dad, right? Because they're gonna fight. He's gonna kill him, and he's gonna feel terrible and have to deal with that all next season, and have to work on his relationship with Harcourt, because I don't think she's ever gonna get together with Vigilante. I don't see that happening. But maybe she likes his childlike innocence, and his sort of uncomplicated psyche, I guess. But I think she has some sort of feelings for Peacemaker, I would imagine. So
I think the season ends with they achieve their goal, and they're like, okay, well, we'll go our separate ways. It was great working together, and so the second season will be Peacemaker and Eagly driving around the country in a replica of Kit from Knight Rider, trying to reassemble the team.
There you go.
If I was writing it, I would do that.
Kit from Knight Rider. That's funny. And you could get. Oh no, I don't think you can get William Daniels to come back. I think he's dead.
No, he's not.
He's not. Oh, good. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, great. So there you go.
Yeah. See.
Was it
William? But it'll be like.
How do I know it's William Daniels and I couldn't remember fucking Avengers Infinity War? Why
but the trick will be it's not like an actual sentient car. It's a replica that he bought, so it only has like so many things that it says.
Right.
And it tries to, much like any other automated thing like that, it tries to guess best on what you ask it, the right response. But in the show, it'll always be the wrong thing. See, now I want this show to happen.
Or it only says one thing.
Yes.
It just keeps saying
right,
Peacemaker.
Right, Michael.
Peacemaker,
right,
what
Michael.
a joke. That's what it keeps saying.
Yeah. Yes, that's it. Because whoever he bought it from slipped that in at the last minute.
No, it's got to be a broken ass version of Kit from Knight Rider for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or it's the Trans Am from Smoking the Bandit.
And it just keeps playing video of him killing.
Although, what is the most metal thing that it could be? Because it's got to be something maybe metal related. I don't know. We'll have to think about it. But I agree. Going around solving crimes and trying to get the group back together
with Eagly.
Eagly was very, very helpful and brought him
he even brought him something to eat.
Brought him a
snack. Tried to cheer him up.
It's so sweet. That just reminded me of my dog. My dog does stuff like that. So
I do like the best part of the opening sequence, because I still watch that every single episode.
Me too.
Is at the end where Eagly doesn't quite land on his mark and has to look down and step where he needs to.
Like,
yeah.
Well, and also,
see, now here's the thing though. I'm pissed off now because they have everybody, including the janitor in the first episode. They don't have Christopher Heyerdahl in the opening sequence.
No, you're right. Well, obviously it was filmed maybe before he was going to be involved.
But I'm like, if you're going to have everybody in there, wouldn't it? That would have been awesome.
But I'm still gonna stick to my theory that Harcourt and Myrn are both butterflies, because they both come out of the same door and they both look like puppets and they're both doing the same sort of thing. So that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Plus, they have.
I thought Economos. Oh no,
not Economos. Yeah. No.
He doesn't come out of the door. He's there when they come out.
He's a regular dude. No, it's definitely Myrn and it's definitely Harcourt, because they come out of the same door and they're both doing the puppet dance together. And they have a couple of looks during this episode. And but I think you're right. It's definitely a faction of butterflies. Maybe it's a rebel faction or whatever. And well, because the one butterfly that Peacemaker has in his trailer also makes the peace sign. I can't remember if that happened in this episode or if it happened in the trailer in the previous.
That's true. And he's not like trying to get out and stuff. He's feeding them and keeping them, and that the butterfly's just hanging out.
And he flashes the peace sign, right? So
and the butterfly did seem concerned when he passed out drunk, because he rolls the jar over like, "Hey, are you okay?" when Eagly comes in. So
that's right. So that's what I'm saying. But where did that butterfly come from? Whose head was that in?
That came from the senator guy, though, that they were there to kill. So
that's interesting.
That's I don't know. I don't know. Well, I bet we'll find out.
I feel like we will, and you know what? It'll make more sense than the Book of Boba Fett, probably.
Probably.
That's sad but true.
We're the same number of episodes along with both shows.
Yes.
And Peacemaker is just...
Well, there's 3 more episodes of Peacemaker. 2 of them are directed by Gunn and 1 by Brad Anderson. Yeah. Again, I like shows, and I'll say this again and again. I'm sure you can tell that everyone is having a great time. Because I feel like on Book of Boba Fett, no one is having any fun either. And I feel like on this show, people are loving it. There's jokes. There's it's a loose kind of fun set, which I'm sure that's how it is with James Gunn's movies in general. And everyone's having a great time. And on Boba Fett, everyone's taking it too seriously, and everyone's just not enjoying themselves. And they all look kind of constipated, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
They even turned the fact that Steve Agee, who plays Economos, had to dye his beard for Suicide Squad, and he didn't want to. Now they've turned that into a running joke on Peacemaker, which is great.
That's right.
Sorry, there's so many little things that are just...
It's a show with layers, man.
It is, and it is definitely way more than... it certainly lives up to the sum of its parts in many ways.
It does.
Boba Fett does not. It's so weird seeing the parallels, even though they're vastly different shows, but they're still kind of along the same thing of a potentially bad guy learning to be a hero, I suppose.
Right, and that would have been a more interesting journey, the hero's journey for Boba Fett, to still be a bad guy at the beginning of Boba Fett and then become a good guy as time goes on and have to be helped by other people instead of just being this automaton going through the motions and dotting the, and just I have to get to this plot point and then I have to get to this plot point. But by the time I'm going to get there, I'm just going to walk because it's more interesting to walk everywhere. I have fucking land speeders everywhere. It's established that
we don't have that budget. We used it on neon bikes.
We used it on neon bikes, which is fucking stupid. But anyway, I know why they did it, but it doesn't really matter why. They didn't do it very well.
Yeah.
They're even called the mods, like the mods from England. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't want to get into that because that's just annoying. So anyway, Peacemaker, really enjoying it. It's definitely taken hold with me, and I'll be, it's one of those things where I'm excited about seeing a new episode and I enjoy it, and then I'll be sad when it's over. But like you said, maybe there's going to be another season. I feel like, why wouldn't you, right?
Right.
Why wouldn't you do another one?
It's huge. It's being reported as the most popular streaming series right now.
People are enjoying it. People are, talking about it.
But only if Gunn has an idea for... I mean, if it was we want you to do a second season, he's sure. I don't really have an idea, but I'm sure he does.
I don't feel like the guy ever doesn't have an idea, by the way. I feel like he's a person you could just talk to for 10 minutes and you have 20 ideas, and most of them are probably pretty good. So
here's kind of the measure. I will absolutely rewatch the whole season of Peacemaker, probably multiple times. I don't see myself doing that Book of Boba Fett. I did a Mandalorian. Both seasons I watched multiple times. I just don't see rewatching Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I don't either. There's no reason to. First of all, and second of all, it's just not good enough to bother. But I wonder. Yeah. I'd be curious to just for Book of Boba Fett. I'd be curious to talk to somebody who's never. I mean, it's hard. Someone who's never seen Return of the Jedi or whatever, who doesn't really know that much about Boba Fett, watching the show and going, well, I wonder if they'd react differently, because I'm sure a lot of my opinion of the show is informed by the fact that I always, wanted Boba Fett to have a better ending, and I thought he was a cool character, etc. So it's disappointing on that level, and I wonder if I had less attachment to the character, would I be as upset?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not a great show, which is the other thing, and I think people they may not be able to articulate why it is or isn't, but it's just...
here, if I wasn't attached to the character of Boba Fett and wanting to see something more and better done with him, if I was coming into this without any of that, I don't know that I would continue to watch the show. And there isn't anything in the first few episodes that would make me go, oh, I want to know more about this character. Maybe it's the opposite, though. Maybe it's... we've put so much into the interest and everything of the character that if we didn't know anything about him, it might be, oh, I want to see more of what happens with him and the Sand People. And,
right. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. But then that gets that gets ended. That's unceremoniously ended.
The
Sand People are dead. Fuck you.
Maybe it is a curse of already caring too much about the character.
It is. It's all a curse.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's a Darksaber curse.
It's just a curse to care about anything. So let's just not care. Let's just be robots with no emotions like Vigilante.
We could be a 69th iteration of an AI.
Please
It'll
don't.
be fine.
Please don't go there.
No.
That's
Okay.
that's too much information.
We should go on to picks.
Don't give away the great story we came up before the show.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So yeah, let's go to picks. Would you like to go first, Joe?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm going a little different this time, and I'm picking a website.
What?
Yeah, a website called fab365.net.
It's not Pornhub, is it?
No. 365, not 369.
Okay, gotcha. How would that work? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. We could ask the Belters. They're into this.
The Beltas, yeah, Beltaloda.
Beltaloda. Yeah. Anyway, this is a website that sells patterns for 3D printing. They also have quite a few patterns that are free. What is cool about the patterns on this website is not only are they well designed, but a lot of them contain like a main component that when you print it, it basically folds up into what it's supposed to be, and then you have some other parts that you print out that you add to this, but it all like snaps into place. Very few of the ones that they have on here require glue or any other thing to keep them together, and they're just really well designed and really detailed. I printed out a Millennium Falcon with a display stand, but like the Millennium Falcon has like the radar dish moves, the guns move. It's even got the ramp so you can go inside. It's just, and the detail is.
Well, I didn't know it's that big. You can go inside. That's amazing.
Yeah, you can. It's a 1-to-1 scale.
That's amazing.
Millennium Falcon. Yeah, but the details are amazing. Right now, I'm printing the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo, and the cool thing is they've designed it so you can print out the parts individually in the color that they're supposed to be, so you don't have to paint it. So it's a fantastic site. If you're a 3D printing person, you absolutely need to go to fab365.net and get some patterns there, and you'll be very happy. They even have like, when you print it, here's the settings you should use and stuff like that.
That's cool. That's helpful.
Yeah.
So it's
and they
fab365.net.
Yeah, fab365.net, and they have like videos that show you how to assemble it, and all. It's an amazing site, and I've gotten some great patterns from there, so I highly recommend it.
That sounds fun. Yeah, you have to have a 3D printer, obviously, but I wonder if you can get in trouble for that though, because they're selling like blueprints or they're not selling anything, I guess. But can you print out a Millennium Falcon and like sell it at a show? Probably not, right?
Well, no, and I think that's kind of in the licensing and all that, because you have to
sign in, kind of thing.
Yeah, you have to create an account and sign in to download, and I think that's part of the agreement is that, But like, I mean, so for example, the Millennium Falcon, it's probably about 8 or 9, about 10 inches across, and it's right now, and it has been for a while. It's a free pattern, so you can go download it right now for free and print it out. And then they make a stand for it that's like $3 for the pattern. But
that's cool.
But the stand is cool because it doesn't just sit there in the stand. The stand moves around, so you can move. Yeah, it's really cool.
So this is like stuff you print, and then you can display it on your
curio
cabinet.
Yes, these are quality pieces. Like I said, I'm doing the Mystery Machine right now.
Cool.
And it all snaps together, and it looks wonderful.
So. I must have. Okay, so it makes sense now. You print the pieces and then you assemble it. Okay, you said that, I'm sure, but I was not. I guess I missed that part.
They're kind of kits in a way.
Yeah,
So like for the Millennium Falcon, the main there's like a main portion of the body that prints out and folds together, and then you print out these other pieces to snap into place.
Gotcha.
Around the circular part, and then like the landing gear and all that kind of stuff.
So it's like back when you had to buy model kits. I'm sure they still make model kits that you can buy. I'm sure. I've been to hobby stores, but not recently, of course. But you could buy the kit and build stuff. I used to do that.
Yeah, it's basically a snap together model kit, basically.
Do you glue it together, or you don't use glue probably, right?
You don't have to for these. I mean, you can if you want to really make it
stick
solid, but it's pretty solid just as it is, so you don't have to glue it.
So just mention again what 3D printer you have so people know.
So I actually have two. I have a Creality.
Duh.
Yeah, I have a Creality Ender 3 V2. And then the one that I just got is the Creality Ender 6, which is just an extraordinary machine.
So that could print like bigger stuff or more detailed
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. The Ender 6 is bigger. It's the mechanisms are a little different, so it prints in better detail and prints faster. So
That's cool.
Yeah. And both of these, like even the Ender 6 is right around the same price as you'd pay for like a high-end gaming console, like an Xbox or a PlayStation. So
Yeah, I guess it depends on if you can find one, right? So
Right.
that's actually probably a better use of your time, I would imagine, than playing video games all day. So
for me, it is.
you
But
can create things. Although I enjoy games too, but
yeah, me too.
I think about getting a 3D printer sometimes. But then I guess having a friend with a 3D printer is the next best thing, right?
It's a lot of fun.
I'm sure it's like having friends with boats. You don't have to have a boat yourself.
Right. Yeah. You never have to buy a boat if you have a friend with a boat.
I never have to buy a boat. I probably won't. Yeah. So, cool. That sounds like fun. My pick this week is I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I've been getting into music again a lot, and also creating music because I've been playing guitar and I've been doing that stuff. Anyway, my pick is a piece of technology which you plug into your computer and make sounds. It's a MIDI controller. It's the Akai MPK Mini 3 version 3.
Nice.
It just came out recently. Not that recently, but it just came out pretty recently, and it's basically plug and play MIDI controller. You just take the USB cable and you plug it into your computer. It's bus powered, so you don't need a battery or a power cord or anything. It's a little mini thing. It's got little drum pads on it and a keyboard and all kinds of synths and weird cool stuff like that. And for me, I just plug it in and on my Mac, and it works with Logic, which is the program that I use to edit the podcast anyway. So I'm already doing stuff, and I've been creating some fat beats. So pretty soon.
That's PHAT.
PHAT, right? Yeah. Pretty soon, I'll maybe a new theme song for the podcast or something. I don't know. It's just fun to mess around. They're super cheap. It's like $119 at Amazon. So you can't really. I got a gift card for my birthday at Christmas time or whatever, so it's basically free. I mean, to me, it was.
Right.
But it's got a lot of capability. I mean, the software that comes with it, it's got a lot of good synths and a lot of drums and a lot of cool effects and stuff. I mean, Logic has a lot of effects in it, but Logic is a different program that you have to pay money for. But if you just want to mess around with it, I think it comes with an Ableton Lite license, which is free, and you can just get down and make some cool synth music. And I am a fan of like 80s, electronica music and stuff, and I mean all kinds of music, but it's just fun. Just like it's on my desk and you just mess around with it. It's super fun. I'm sure my kid's gonna steal it at some point, but it's fun and I'm enjoying it. And if I was like a person who had to go on the road or like wanted to go to someplace else, it's just it's the same size as my laptop. Basically, it just fits back in the bag and you just take it with you. It's super portable. The only downside for someone like me who has kind of fat fingers is the keys are a little close together for my liking. So if I do more stuff, I'd probably get one with more full size keys. But you can't beat it for the price and the functions. It does a shitload of stuff for almost nothing. So and it's fun. And it's just fun. I think that's the key. It's fun to mess around with. So
nice.
Anyway, it's Akai Pro MPK Mini Mark III. That's my pick. So
excellent.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know. I'm not a professional musician or anything, and certainly.
But you play one on TV.
I'm barely capable of doing this show, and it's fun to mess around, and I some record stuff. And if you ever want to be humbled, though, you should definitely record yourself singing because that makes you feel really good about yourself.
I will never do that. I did that once at a amusement park. When I was in my teens, and I will never do that again.
Because I mean, I have pretty good recording gear at the house, and some good mics, and obviously because we do a show, but I have good stuff, quality stuff. So it's not the equipment that's the problem. it's me, it's my voice. But
you got to get you some auto tune, and you'll be set.
I mean, that's the thing about Logic. The program that I use for audio is that it has a lot of effects and a lot of stuff you can do to voices, and I'm comforted by the fact that I'm digging into these projects in Logic because there's a lot of like free examples of popular songs, and you look at the vocal tracks, for example, and there's like 30 layers of vocal on top of it. So I'm like, well, they're not exactly singing perfectly, although when you just listen to the one without any effects on it, they do sound pretty good still. I mean, they can carry a tune. So I'm not. Anyway, it's just fun to mess around with. It's just another expensive hobby that I can get into.
There you go.
I'm good at that. So anyway, find the Flickcast on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts and on Google and Amazon. Wherever you find podcasts, you can find Joe and I on the socials. Joe is at What Joe Writes. I am at Chris Yu, and also Ulrich Picks at Instagram. And the Flickcast is at TheFlickcast, basically everywhere on Twitter, on Instagram, and wherever fine social media is found. And then, of course, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TheFlickcast, and all that stuff.
Yes.
Like and subscribe. Rate and review.
Crush that like button.
Crush the like. We don't really have. Oh, we are on YouTube, so you can crush the like button if you want to. The podcast shows up on YouTube, and that's cool. And we're working on the Discord thing. That's going to happen. A little community thing. We may end up partnering with a friend of ours who does Whiskey and Waffles guys who do the Twitch stream that I work on. And in fact, one of the guys from Whiskey and Waffles, our friend John Carl, is going to be on the show next week, so that'll be fun. He's going to talk about his new podcast, so that'll be cool. Because what the world needs is more podcasts. It needs more podcasts, really. So
we do. We need to drown out some of the other podcasts.
Well, that could be true, Suze. So anything else, Joe, or are we good, you think?
I think that's probably
It's always hard to figure out how to end the show, so I'm just going to end the show. Just a quick aside. I love the fact that, well, it doesn't matter. There was a guy on the show, he always would say, now it's time to end. So it's like, here's how you end. Anyway,
that's it.
That's it. Yeah. So for Joe Dilworth, I'm Chris Ulrich. That was the Flickcast. Thanks for listening.